All right, let's go. It's recording. Um, I just want to say a couple of words to myself, seeing the fact that I haven't been really nice toward myself, and that due to many factors, including stress, anxiety, uh, fear, and even sickness, and pain sometimes or most of the times can make us sway or go astray against ourselves. And the words fear can or pain can make us our or make us the enemy, make us the foes um, of of ourselves, which is not good. We shouldn't be the enemy of ourselves. If you are your own enemy, then how you expect others to be? And even this comparison between the self and the other. Some philosophers say the other is hell, Jean-Paul Sartre, which is true in a sense, and not really in another sense, because we as individuals on the need of the self or on the need of the other, like regardless if that other is good or bad by our own standards. Because, like, for example, like if I were to be a gambler, right? um if I associate myself with a gambler community, then that gambler community becomes a part of me, meaning that gambler is not doing something bad, um, meaning that that person is not is good, right? And so on, so same example. And I will interpret it as whoever not letting you transgress against your own self. I would say that's a good person, even though definition good on itself is hard to define, because what is good? How do you find good? What is good for me, not good for you, and vice versa. In general, like I will go with the harm principle, and here we're talking about the harm of the self, like your own self. Like if that person, if he or she or it or whatever uh, made me do behaviors or made me feel bad about myself, regret, and give me all the negative feelings, then we could say that that person is not good, not morally good, because that's another story. Even someone who is not morally immoral, in the sense, in my own morality, because my morality could not be your morality, and right, as give the gambler example before, um, that's what I was talking about, namely, like the idea. And the idea is what's important here. The idea is more important than the person itself. Uh, so I was stating my reasons why I became so hard on myself, and I was like, I becoming, I was becoming my number one enemy, which is let alone logic, because logic, well, how does logic deals with the self, and what is the relationship between logic and consciousness? I really want to understand this. I know it sounds deep. I know it has a lot of discussions and views, which is I'm not ready to do right now. I'm not like ready to discuss the nature of consciousness, the nature of the self, the uh, happiness, and all these, heavy concepts, sophisticated philosophical ideas. The Chalmer problem, consciousness, that really made a whole bunch of philosophers and thinking, fight within themselves. Even though it is concerned, it is connected to our main point. If we understand the nature of things, we understand that thing, right? If we understand the nature of our own self, we understand ourselves more deeply. And uh, earlier, like these days, even though I haven't been doing any philosophical reading, I stopped reading whatsoever, of course, because of school. I barely can read my own homework and my task. Uh, but I was doing some listening into I call it the Alan Watts effect, like the Alan Watts magic. Like that guy, that philosopher is like, wow, man. He's different than the rational philosophers, and also different than the existential philosophers, also different than the materialistic, hardcore materialistic philosophers, the Zizek, the Sam Harris, the you name them. What I like about Alan Watts, he is deeply deep. He really got you like to really deeply think. He that type of guy that will provoke you. Literally, he will provoke you, and this is the first impression that I have with him when I first listened to his one of his videos. He really provoked my whole. He just like my whole worldview that I've been brought up, like my whole life. It was like in their challenge in that very um very small video, and that video was really like loaded with knowledge, basically. And that knowledge requires another knowledge, and that knowledge requires a more going into depth of that knowledge, meaning the philosophy of the philosophy of that philosophy. And then until you go on, oh, the whole, until you go like pondering about the universe, about the nature of the universe, about the nature of your own self, and you transform that knowledge to your own self. Because then when you start to think, what is me, who is me, how define me, is it the society that define me, and is it me who define me? Because I could give a picture or a perspective about my own self which is not true. And really, if you are not really equipped, me, gonna drive you crazy, and it will put you into an existential crisis, and it will put you into like a pause moment, what the heck moment, a moment of really just sitting down in a silent, in a calm, silent environment in your room, or in the library, and really thinking about it, thinking about, wait a moment, who am I? Who am I? Who am I truly am I? And some would say I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a dentist, I'm a teacher, I'm a student. But is that really you? Or is that something you do because what is you is not what you do, right? Imagine if you weren't to be a doctor. Imagine if you just changed careers, or if you changed choices, or you changed major in college. Instead of being a teacher, you could be a writer, right? Are you gonna say, I'm a writer? No. Well, the tricky part here is that you are a writer and at the same time you are not. And it may sound contradictory to you. It may sound, how is that possible? How is that logical? Again, as I said, it won't make sense to you. But you have to look at it like really, really deeply, and to fully grasp, you have to really like to be in a to be like I don't want to say to be in a Zen, in a position of meditation. You have to meditate. You have to pause. You have to pause and just think, and that thinking will lead you to more thinking, and that thinking will lead you to more thinking, and that thinking until the thinking if itself become thinking, and then, like you would say, my uh, then something will click in you that would say, oh yeah, I'm not really a writer. I was just made to be a writer. And when I say made, not necessarily I made by exterior factors or a higher factor. No, you could made. And here I will just, I'll quote, not like a mo quote, no, like not a literal quote, just like the meaning of what Sam Harris, um, I think in his book, very well, yeah, very well, in that book, I guess, because I was like, I'm not sure, because anyways, that's what Sam Harris believes or say about why we do what we do. We are predetermined. There is no like free will. There is no free will. It's just the neurons. It's just the it is just our brains how work. I was made by my neuron, by my brain, to be a writer. Meaning I possess certain abilities that made me a writer, or a certain abilities that made me a carpenter. I'm good with wood, etc. And that's mainly the idea. But analysts see it from that perspective, and then again from add to it, and then again from the say the relationship between us as entities or as atoms and the universe as the source of atoms. And man, it's just like adds more and more and more and more. It's like a vortex, like really uh, it is dropping you. It's like the word sucking you. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Sucking you into it, like, and you get deep and deep and deep. And the more you get deep, the more you enjoy it, and the more you go and go on a true finding self. You go on a quest of finding your own self. Your old self is no longer there. You killed the self, the fake self, the image that was given to you by society, by your parents, by your school, by your church, by your mosque, by your synagogue. Answer term here. By an exterior factor. Um, that's really fascinating, and that's worth pondering, and it gives you joy. As a song, like there's a song that says yeah, some folks would say, well, uh, like if I would have millions of dollars, I would be joyful. No, would you be smiling? Would you be happy? Is happiness is joy? Because that's the difference. And the word happiness itself is very complex, sophisticated word that a lot of philosophers like fail to define. And what I would like to call it, it gives you an image, or it's give you a clue, a very small clue of knowing thyself, of knowing yourself. To know oneself, to be free. And that's what I concluded. And that's what Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true. And you know the interpretation of Shakespeare. You can never interpret or understand what really Shakespeare meant. And that's the beauty of it. It's widely open. It's a vast source. It's a vast, it's an infinity of knowledge, an infinity of meaning, an infinity of understandings. And that's what I love. And that made me have a leak, or have a small look on who truly I am. I'm a thinking entity. That's it. That's it for today. Hope you all having a day, night full of thinking and full of pondering and eating. Don't forget to eat. Bye.